Marlon Brando, a man who not only revolutionized acting, but lived a life filled with contradictions, genius, pain, and rebellion. Marlon Brando, born April 3, 1924, in Omaha, Nebraska. Marlon Brando Sr., a pesticide salesman, stern and unaffectionate. Marlon Brando Mother Dorothy. Dodie Pennebaker, an alcoholic and aspiring actress who introduced him to theater, but was emotionally unstable. Had 2 sisters, and his family eventually moved to Illinois. As a child, Brando mimicked voices and mannerisms, a skill he'd later channel into acting. Attended Shattuck Military Academy, but was expelled for insubordination. Moved to New York in 1943 at age 19. Studied acting at the Dramatic Workshop with Erwin Piscator, then at the Actors Studio with Stella Adler. Adler exposed him to Stanislavski's system, which emphasized inner truth and emotional memory. Brando absorbed it deeply. I Remember Mama, 1944. Small role, but noticed for his intensity. Truckline Cafe, 1946. Terrible play, but Brando's energy had critics buzzing. A Streetcar Named Desire, 1947. Brando's portrayal of Stanley Kowalski was raw, physical, sexually charged, and unlike anything the stage had seen. Audiences were stunned by his muttering, slouching, shouting. It was acting that felt real, not theatrical. Redefining masculinity, 1950s. Brando brought emotional vulnerability and intensity to the screen, creating a new kind of leading man, sensitive, brooding, dangerous. Key films: The Men, 1950. Method-style performance as a paraplegic Wavubyo vet. A Streetcar Named Desire, 1951. Oscar nomination, Viva Zapata, 1952. Oscar nomination. Julius Caesar, 1953. Surprisingly masterful Shakespearean delivery. The Wild One, 1953. Birth of the Rebel Archetype. Black Leather, Motorcycle, iconic. On the Waterfront, 1954. Won his first Oscar. Directed by Elia Kazan. I Could Have Been a Contender, an immortal line delivered with heart-wrenching vulnerability. Brando's reputation for being difficult, unpredictable, and rebellious grew. Mutiny on the Bounty, 1962. Costly disaster. Brando's demands caused endless delays. Became infamous for rewriting scripts, defying directors, and improvising entire scenes. Studios saw him as box office poison. Yet he was still seen as a genius. His disillusionment with Hollywood grew. He focused more on political causes, was deeply involved in the American Indian movement. In 1973, he boycotted the Oscars, sending Sachin Littlefeather to reject his Best Actor Oscar for The Godfather, protesting Hollywood's portrayal of Native Americans. The Godfather, 1972, took the role for $250,000, far below his usual rate. Transformed himself into Vito Corleone, stuffed cheeks with cotton, developed a raspy voice, brought gravitas and quiet menace. Won his second Oscar, but famously rejected it on live TV. Changed his career overnight. Last Tango in Paris, 1972. Brando improvised much of the dialogue. The film became the subject of decades-long ethical debate. Played Colonel Kurtz, arriving on set overweight and unread on the script. Despite the chaos, delivered some of the film's most haunting lines. Later, career and personal tragedies, 1980s-2000s. Films in the 80s were largely forgettable, though he occasionally shined. A Dry White Season, 1989. Played a South African lawyer. The Freshman, 1990. A self-parody of his Godfather role. Often refused to memorize lines, choosing to read them from cue cards hidden on set. Son Christian Brando killed his sister Cheyenne's boyfriend in 1990, sentenced to 10 years. Daughter Cheyenne later took her own life in 1995. These events devastated Brando, who blamed himself. Reclusive, unpredictable, and deeply complex. Believed Hollywood was shallow and corrupt, yet never fully walked away from it. Obsessed with food, gaining massive weight in later years. Loved Tahiti, where he bought a private island called Tetiaroa, now a luxury resort. Was fascinated by psychology, philosophy, and science fiction. Marlon Brando. Died July 1st, 2004, from respiratory failure at age 80. Funeral was attended privately by a few close friends and family. Honors: 2 Academy Awards, 3 BAFTA Awards, AFI Life Achievement Award, Time Magazine's 100 Most Important People of the Century. Widely considered the greatest screen actor of the 20th century. Marlon Brando didn't just act, he changed acting. He embodied truth, chaos, sensuality, and rebellion. He defied every rule, broke every mold, and remains a towering figure not just in film, but in cultural history.